Are you a fan of the No Dishes podcast? Be sure to check out our Patreon, where you can find exclusive merch and perks, and join the Clean Plate Club, our Facebook group where you can connect with other fans of the No Dishes podcast, share your favorite moments from the most recent episodes, and submit questions for upcoming guests. Season 4 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurants and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes, no dishes.
All right, we're back with Glass in the Afternoon. It's Wednesday at 3:30. We've got my favorite guest to have on, Jordan. wait a
Shoes
second.
on the other foot.
Oh, what is going on? Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Mike Glasscott.
We will be Wednesdays. You're not going anywhere, right?
Every Wednesday,
Oh, okay,
3:30.
good.
Glass in the Afternoon.
I get sweaty. I get thinking about food and excited, and I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, we've always changed the name of the segment, which is my favorite thing because you've just done it, where it's Restaurant Report, Fat Kid Talk, or maybe that's the one I use. But that's all it is. Is every Wednesday. It used to be Tuesdays. You were gracious enough to let me come on your show, talk about my eating out excursions, and we just have Fat Kid Talk.
It's awesome.
I love it.
And now I'm hungry again.
It's got to be your favorite segment, right?
I'm good. I'm good. Props. They're props, people. They're props.
In my defense, it's only a week old. It's from last Tuesday.
That's it? All right. That's tough.
We're
not going to get that tough.
Doing pretty good.
We will talk more about food and drink and everything else that, it makes Bloomington great. And so does this show. And thanks for having me on. I'm flattered. I don't do a lot of these, so it's nice to be on the opposite side of the chair for once to see what you people want.
What do you mean, you people?
You people. The curious. I interview people that I like, and people always say, well, why'd you get a show? Why are you doing this? Or why? And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You do what you want until someone says you can't come in anymore. So when we talk about food on Wednesday, there's nothing better for me than to talk about my community. Mayor Hamilton's on with me on Tuesdays. If you don't like the mayor, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about what's going on in Bloomington. So that's what I'm trying to do with this show, is keep it hyper local. Nobody cares about the Phillies, the third baseman.
Well, in general.
Right.
Nobody, yeah.
Or, USC's backup quarterback had a great game last. No, we got to talk about what's going on here. And if we can help local business, if we can help schools, if we can help people. So that's it. That's the only reason I do all this stuff.
You do a great job of, and I promise I didn't bring you here just to flatter you.
Well, that shouldn't take long.
Well, we're out of time. That was a good episode. But we've had a few controversial local topics come up, but you always do a good job of big picture. Here's the perspective. Take it or leave it. You're going to have people on this side. You're going to have people on that side. And it's it's not that you're not saying how you feel about stuff, but you're just giving perspective, keeping it kind of neutral, and letting the listener draw their own conclusions.
I think that's exactly the way to put it, because I'm not here to tell you what to think, regardless of whatever the issue may be. Here's the experts. If you don't like their opinion, vote them out, write them a letter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing you what perhaps the issue is.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not Ted Koppel. This is not Nightline. I'm not Peter Jennings, Dan Rather,
that's
60 Minutes. I don't have that kind of time, and I don't have a face for television either.
I could be. Yeah. Well, that's been the joke with this is we're giving everyone what nobody asked for.
Hey, do a podcast with me, and we'll put you on camera. All right.
Yeah. It's we should have stuck to audio
because this is called double chin prevention for those of you not in the business. Makeup.
Garrett's our makeup.
Well,
division.
He's doing a great job.
He's doing great. Look at me.
Well. But it's fun. Bloomington's fun, and I think with you doing the No Dishes interviewing the people in the restaurant and bar business, interviewing the people behind the scenes that make things like this work. All it does is enhance our community, and that's really the best part of all of this. We're not going to be rich and famous doing this. We're not going to be.
Neither of us want to be. Well, maybe rich, but not.
Now, if we had like some kind of
maybe we want to be rich,
magic
but not
gold card where you just walked in and you didn't have to wait in line, and you got right in and did all that. Well, someday I want to be like you when I grow up. But that's the fun part about it, and that's why I love radio, because today when we're shooting this, I had the mayor, I had somebody from Hoosier Hills Career Center, I had almost had Coach Todd Yeagley from IU men's soccer, and then we did the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame in the latter part of my show, announcing the class for that. So everything on that is totally hyper-local.
Yeah.
Totally. We're not talking about balloons. We're not talking about the injustices in the world or anything like that. We're talking about stuff that makes our town tick. Whether you like it or not, again, is up to you. That's fun.
Absolutely. Well, it's fun being across from you, because I remember when he first said, "Hey, let's do this show. If it goes well, we'll do it every week." And I'm like, "Great! Like, how do I get to the studio?"
Yeah.
You're like, no. You Skype in, and at that point, COVID's still a thing, but we're talking maybe how long has it been? A year and a half or so?
Oh, longer than that.
Yeah,
because we did this. The angle of you coming on was to help local businesses that were either tilting because they couldn't open their doors, or they didn't have the glass or the mask or anybody to cook or anything else. So we try to do it as like a public service announcement for the restaurant business, which is near and dear to me. I worked in the restaurant business from 96 to about 2015, almost continuously through that period of time. So that's always been a part of my Bloomington. So you and I getting together, talking about food trucks, how do we help? How do we get people, okay, you can't go in the restaurant, sit outside. Who's got outside dining? Who's got specials? Who's doing this or that or anything else? And it was like and it still is, and that's the great part. We don't play favorites. We just try to talk about the scene and what happens, because it's about our town. We don't talk about the great restaurants in Indy. There's plenty of them. That's not where I'm going with this, but it's hyper local, man, and that's what's cool.
One of my pet peeves with, you'll have like someone be like, "Oh, I'm the Bloomington foodie," or like whatever city town they're in, and then they'll go on a trip and post all the food they're having there, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, it looks great. I don't, but I can't go get it tomorrow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it
taunting, 15-yard penalty.
Dude, we need to get a flag for in here.
Oh, that'd be good. Challenge flag.
Anytime I make say something stupid or ask a dumb question, Garrett just throws it at my eye.
That's I have that. That's my realm. Dumb question. I got that.
Well, this will be great then.
I'm impressed that you do this without headphones, because in my world, it's all audio and not the video that's great that goes along with this. But not being able to hear that in my ears is really trippy in a different way. It's not good or bad.
I enjoy watching you trip.
Because I am tripping out right now. I just came from 3 hours of headsets, and then now I can't hear myself. And half of my thing today was, I can't hear myself. We have to get this fixed.
Yeah, you're like, I'm hanging on by a thread.
I'll do anything. I've had a couple beers. I'll be all right.
You're doing great. Well, I'm the worst host. A lot of times I ask people, "Hey, can I have anything specific for you to drink?"
You're fine.
And I just didn't do it with you.
You're fine. Yeah. You're good.
Well, some people might be wondering why we have you on here.
Yes. No. Well, that's exactly that should be the number one question. We talked about that before you got back in here.
We'll see if they made it far enough where they're like, "Why the hell are they?"
Your Honor, have you seen this man? Oh my God.
But our whole thing with side dishes this season is people that have helped the No Dishes podcast be where it is today. And through you having me on the radio show, you have helped promote. And it's consistently, you introduced me with my role as the chocolate mousse, but you also promote the No Dishes podcast.
Absolutely.
Which would be very easy for another local media company, not that we're anywhere near what WGCL is, to not want to promote another people that are trying to sell advertisements or
but we're not advertising. That's the beauty of it. It's organic. It's the reason we're doing it is not your personal gain or my personal gain. It's because we both give a shit about what goes on here.
Yeah.
And that's the long and short of it. We don't talk about how you make ice cream. We don't talk about your best friend buddy's new great thing.
Right.
We talk about it. And that's I think that's the cool part about it, because if I don't support you, then you stop doing this. Perhaps I'm not
Right.
saying
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
no.
that power or anything crazy. But why would I wouldn't want to fan the flames of
Yeah.
you talking about how great our town is? Now you're on the Visit Bloomington board or Visitors and Convention Center board. So this all makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
so we're not
just,
faking it.
We just had Mike on, and that's the same thing.
Oh,
We're all-
McAfee, right on.
Right. Yeah. We're all in it for the same reason, and just we all love Bloomington. That's what it boils down to. I've been here 12 years. Mike's been here 15.
I've been here since '93, so I don't have my sandals on. What is that? 30 years coming up? Gee whiz.
I love
30
that.
years in August.
Do you do that anytime you have to count over
Yeah,
10?
I
don't
do.
have my sandals
Yep,
on.
I don't.
God, that's good. I love that so much.
We all have our crutches.
Well, one of the things you said
Yeah,
about
30 years.
that you don't play favorites on the show, we don't play
Yeah.
favorites, is we're talking chains a lot too. We're promoting Chicken Salad Chick coming in. We're saying, hey, Arby's is running a special.
Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
We've talked about Arby's, the Taco Bell weather puddle. I did that for years before they covered the roof, which they didn't check with me on. Stupid. No, I'm kidding. I love you. I eat there 4 days a week.
They ruined your best recurring
They
segment.
did not. The soft taco supreme
Those
combo.
selfish-
Everything's going up now. Everything's going up.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's the whole point, because it's not one or the other. It's not a fight. It's not a battle. It's not a, oh my gosh. Well, I mean, Meese was on the show with us a couple weeks ago. How many restaurants does he have? And people say, well, he just has Lenny's. He's got 57 Pizza Express. That's a chain.
Yeah,
but it's our chain, and we can all live together, just like Chipotle can be across the street from Nick's, and just like Potbelly can be across from Lenny's.
Absolutely.
We're all in it together, man.
Yeah, and they have local people. Now, granted, obviously we focus on local because there's a lot of advantages for the community through supporting local, but
Right.
their chains are still hiring local people. You know,
Yes.
they're still providing something, maybe not as much, but they're still providing something.
Look, you do coffee, right? We've talked about your coffee place. There's hopscotch and there's with Verona, and we can go through the whole list of all the locals. Whereas 99% of people get the coffee.
Starbucks.
Well, I mean, we're not making that up.
No, I know.
It's not
Yeah.
something we feel. That's what's happening. But if you're a new coffee place or Crumble or wherever, we're going to talk about you.
Yeah.
Because we care about it, not about that. And I know that sounds vague and silly, but it's true. If we were worried about, well, what the Starbucks people would say or what McDonald's, we're not. They don't care. But we do care about all of it, because it is people that work here. There are people that manage these places. There are people that franchise these places who pay their taxes, buy their gas, send their kids to school, don't bang on the table. It's not a press conference. You won the game. But that's the point. We care about all of it, just not segments of it.
Yeah. Well, my whole point with the whole getting excited to come to the studio, but then it's COVID. But I was like, man, I got to sit down, and so I'm so glad that you're here now, because we've never, despite our weekly radio show, have never sat across from each other.
No.
I mean, we've maybe Alley Bar, but
off hours. That's right.
But
the funny thing is about that. Okay, you're in the car going to Nashville, and you can still do it. You're not like, oh, can't work this week because I'm working for a living.
Mike used to help me when I would forget and call me.
Yeah.
Now it's
I want to see if you're okay.
Well, now I've got you're a teenager, but not now in radio years. You should be responsible enough to call in. So if I forget, which has happened, I had one day where it was like 5 o'clock when I remembered. And I'm like, shit, dude, I am so sorry, man. Like, it's fine. Yeah. I was like, it's all good.
Show goes on, man.
Yeah. I still have deep guilt about it when it
does
happen.
But no, it is fun to get together. And the reason I don't have anybody in the studio is because COVID helped us out with that. Everybody knows how to Skype or Zoom, or even just pick up the phone.
Right.
And finding a parking spot, getting up. It just, in our world, if you're on with me for 15 minutes, if I say that to you and you've never done it before, you're like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about for 15 minutes?
Right.
You sit down with me, we've got 40 things to cover, and we're done. Goodbye.
Yeah.
See you later. So being in the studio doesn't work, but this works great because it's a different thing.
When it's more long form. You know, I'm not
yeah.
traveling 15 minutes for 15 minutes, traveling 15 minutes back. Right. Obviously, I'm a little closer, but you get the point.
Yep.
Yeah, fortunately, you're not trying to have my game on the show. She doesn't know how to pick up the phone or any of those things, but no, I don't have a gam. I call her grandma, and she knows how to pick up the phone.
Well, she's probably downloading all your episodes now.
I know. Well, that's why I just said that caveat. I didn't want her to think I was dissing her. I'm talking generalities. People have gams.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We do need to do what would be fun. The whole reason I brought you here, other than the flattery, was to pitch you on doing a restaurant afternoon takeover where I do come to the studio.
The door's open anytime.
I love it.
Here's the reason you can come in, and I don't mean this as a knock for any of my other guests, because Mayor Hamilton's asked before as well, but his schedule's a little bit tighter.
A little tighter than mine, yeah.
Well, the other thing is, if you're not in the know, and I mean this for some of our other folks we're trying to help with charitable causes and events and buy your tickets, hey, we want to help be a good community partner. People are like, well, can we come in? And I'm like, no, because you don't leave. Yeah. And I don't say that to their face directly, but I am now.
This is your opportunity.
But here's the point. Everybody thinks they can do this, and they can't because it's not easy. So, hey, can we come to the studio? No, because I don't have 4 parking spots. I don't have 6 microphones. I don't have a producer.
Right.
I don't have a green room. I don't have a waiting room. I have.
You don't have
studio.
a fancy futon like we do?
You come in
with no cover.
We're doing radio, and you're out of here.
Yeah, wham bam.
And then they want to stay and watch the rest, and I don't have time to be that guy.
Yeah.
So all of you out there in podcast land, wherever you may be, it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's just I got 3 hours a day to do.
Yeah.
5 days a week, and it's not. If I did what you do, this long form, beautiful, come on in. Oh, absolutely.
It's different.
Bring
absolutely.
everybody.
You fit so much in.
My Jones is the live stuff. The only reason I'm doing this with you is because it's you. I will not go edit anything. Yeah. If I stumble, bumble, fall down, phone doesn't work, mic's not on, commercials don't play right, I eat it because that's where I thrive.
Yeah.
So this is fun. You got me, but the rest of you just gotta. Jordan can come in, but the rest of you, those of you who haven't been invited back because of COVID, it just made me say, well, now that we all can use this other stuff,
right?
I can help get more messages out when I don't have a clogged studio. Does
Absolutely.
that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's selfish, but it's better. And thanks to everybody that listens, by the way. I shouldn't forget that.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how many people listen to the radio. I have so many people that are like, I love you. I love listening to you on Glass. And like, you have a ton of listeners. Now,
awesome.
how long has the show been going?
It's in the afternoon since 2019, just after Labor Day. I started mornings back in 2008, and then 2009 not by myself. My great friend, God rest his soul, Keith Klein, helped me out a couple days a week. Margaret Fetty would pop in every now and again. I'd have Jim Inman and Julie Warren jump in as well. So I had just like a babbling brook of guests.
But you've been building up a listenership base since 2008.
And the mornings started it. I did the mornings for about, again, 10 or 11 years, and then moved to afternoons. Each have their perks and benefits or whatever else, but it is where it is. And I'm like you. I'm flattered when somebody comes up and say, oh my gosh, I'll tell you a story. What was it? Friday night, just the last weekend, I'm at the Alley Bar. I know. Hold your breath. Count to 5. Shocking.
We know where this is going.
And so I've got to get out of there to go meet another group for a birthday party. And I'm walking out the door, and it's chilly because Friday is the only day it was cold last week, right? So the outside heaters at there's people outside. It's packed. It's Mom's Weekend or something's going on in town. And I go up just to. And this young lady, I don't know, that's what I would call her, says, "Were you the guy at the football games?" And I hadn't done that since 2016.
Man.
So I just, did the old Robin Williams, And so I'm talking to her and the group she's with. The other guy goes, you're not Glass in the afternoon. I said,
I'm Glass at night right now.
I'm looking for the cameras. I'm looking around saying, all right, Impractical Jokers, where are you?
Am I on Punk'd? Where's Ashton?
I've seen this before. So the guy starts, the girl's right. I mean, I did that. And I stopped in 2017 when I went and did the radio for Joe when he was injured. And then I didn't go back to it. So that's been a while. So anyway, I was like, okay, so I'm
quite some time.
I'm either just as fat or
there's something that stood out.
Right. So that's why I'm feeling like, oh, how do you remember that?
Right. Of all things.
A long time ago. I didn't say, did you work there? Did we work together? I had a couple beers. I was on my way. I was just, oh, that's awesome. And the other guy, I guess, hears me talking, goes, you're Glass in the afternoon. I was like, oh. So I'm just kind of, okay, yeah, you got me.
Now
he's
you
just
guys are ribbing me.
off. When you talk to and you did this and you did that and we listen here. Squirrel, if you're out there, I got you.
Squirrel.
That's his nickname.
I need a better nickname.
Right.
Like Squirrel.
So him and his crew listens, and it's just one of those things that just hit you, and you're like, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't. I love it. It doesn't get old. And whenever I have someone come up and be like, I love listening to you on Glass, I'm immediately like, well, Glass makes anybody sound good. You're such a professional at it. You've been doing it for so long.
Man, I don't
No, I'm dead serious. We're like, even like, because believe it or not, I have off days.
No, I don't believe that. That's for bowling, I thought.
I have way more of those than anything.
Oh, you mean off days? Like, you mean like off your game days?
Yeah, just feeling off. Just feeling a little off, and you always just make it. You could sense it through the phone. That where I don't know. Maybe you don't even realize you do it.
I like the disaster because that's like you just mentioned. That happens more than. Oh my gosh, everything went great today.
Right.
Okay, this was great. Okay. No, it never happens. The phone doesn't go on. This doesn't hit. I click a button wrong. I double click something. It goes away. I'm sitting there wondering why somebody isn't calling in who for 3 weeks pestered me to come on the show. Where are you? What's going on? But I've learned this. If I'm prepared, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then if it all goes to hell, if I can just be. Today I wasn't, and I ate it today.
Hey, this is your redemption tour right now.
I know, and I'm giving back, and it feels great. But I had stuff today, but not like Monday I had stuff.
Yeah.
And today I had stuff. Yeah. And then, so I got lost in a shuffle, then it's bad. Because part of me just wants to start, I don't know, telling jokes or stupid stories, and I'm like, I don't know. Do people need some headlines? I don't have any today, so I've got to do something.
Can you take
different.
me minute by minute of you eating it? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love
Chapter 1, the phone doesn't ring. Or the best part,
3:22.
Yeah, that's how it started today. Okay, we're going live to the MCCSC. Our guest today is my great friend Christy McBride. Potted up. Christy, how you doing? Christy.
Hey, Christy.
So what you can't see on the air is what did I do?
Yeah.
Because it's me.
Right.
I don't have a guy to blame. I got one guy to blame.
Yeah.
So I'm fiddling and punching and going through all the permutations of how did I screw this up, and we got to take a break. And then we come back, and it worked when I came back. So that's real life. Yeah. And that's what I enjoy about live radio. Is every day, everybody, it's not different. It's the same every day, but it's different every day.
Well, it's the same in restaurants. And that's why I love restaurant work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why is Monday busy? Well, it's President's Day. No one's at school. Did you not figure that out?
Right.
Oh, no, I didn't figure that out.
Every day's the same but different.
What's
there's
the
always
old joke?
new problems to figure out.
Everybody should work in the restaurant business for 6 months or retail at Christmas. And this world would be a better place, hands down, because you would understand, and that's part of my show. I try to get people to understand. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it.
Yeah.
I just want you to understand it. So when we talk about the restaurants, hey, it's Valentine's Day. Don't go out and go onto the Bloomington foodie site and bitch that your food took an hour on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock in a packed restaurant. These things happen.
I don't understand the need. I mean,
I do, because people in the old days, now, kids gather around the internet like we did in the old days.
Yeah, before these phones and tic-tac.
Well, that's what you do. You'd sit at the counter at Wee Willie's and you'd bitch. Or you'd sit at the bar after your shift. And it's not any different. Now people don't have to go out to bitch. They can bitch wherever they want.
Right, yeah.
And when I got out.
You have a captive audience.
When I was getting out, 2015 or so, that was the Yelp boom, the review boom, and everything else. And so one feckless random person could say, I was in your place at 7 o'clock. You spit in my beer, you dropped my food, you charged me 4 times over the
manager
menu price,
said I smell bad,
and that went as gospel. That's bullshit.
There's no vetting. Yeah,
total and utter bullshit. So when I was running the account, I just deleted. I wouldn't even care, because if you went to that much effort to tell that much of it's I don't care if you ever come back. Please don't.
Well, I love
promise. Sign the form. Don't come back.
Please.
I'm never coming back. You promise? Right here. Go ahead. Notary. Bam.
I'm going to tell all my friends.
But that I didn't like that about it, and I still don't like that, because you and me having a conversation off a hot mic about what we think about anything is our business.
Right, yeah.
But to take it out to a group of people you don't even know, to shit on somebody's professional life,
their livelihood.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't read it. I can't. I mean, I'm not making threats or anything. That's not what I'm doing, but it just, I see why people get off social media and need to chill out because it kills. It's not helping anything.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have a good experience, you're not required to put it on social media that you didn't have a good experience.
Right.
So that's why I like your reviews. You talk real talk. Hey, the food took too long. Okay? It did.
Right.
It's either it did or it didn't. But you didn't say these people need to die in a fire and never open their doors again. I mean, what's wrong with people?
Yeah. I mean, I try to I'll never lie about something. That's my thing with reviews. Is
if you lie or I lie, no one listens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even before, but it's like I'll focus on the good. If something wasn't good, I'm not going to write and say it was great. I just won't mention it.
I just
admit it.
You just asked me, what do you do when you're bad? I tie my shoe and come in the next day and try to do better.
Right. Yeah.
That's exactly what these restaurants try to do.
Well,
they're not like, hey, I know how to make $1 million. Let's screw everything up.
Yeah. Or just email the manager. Or like if you had a very poor experience and you need to get.
But that's the bullshit of all this. That's what people don't do. Oh, I emailed the manager. He apologized. He gave me $5,000 in gift certificates, a limo ride back to the restaurant to solve the problem.
Yeah.
No, they just bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and that's the
whatever,
thing.
Man.
That's the thing with the foodies group.
Whatever.
Is all the time people will be like, oh, you can't say anything negative on here. You can't talk about a bad experience. It's like, no. It's very clear, and it's not my group. Yeah. I'm not. People think all the time.
You don't have to join it, by the way.
Yeah, no, thank you. And people think all the time it's my group. I'm an admin. I'm not.
You're trying to pass the message.
I'm an active participant, but it's very frustrating to me that time and time again, people want to say you can't talk about negative experiences. You can't say anything bad, and it's very clear that the rules of this group are. You have to try.
We give everybody publicity. Everybody.
You have to try to rectify. You have to tell the manager. You have to, and then fill in like, what did they do? Did they try to rectify the situation? And it seems like a very simple thing to me.
It's not. People want attention, and that's the good thing and the bad thing about social media. You can get it multiple ways, but we need, and this is why I hang out with you and we do radio, we need to use our powers for good.
Right.
We don't need to use it to bury a business. We don't need to use it to shit on a manager. It might be his first day managing. We've gone through all that stuff in this business. Why waste our time why spend all this energy on negativity? Even if it's not great, you say, hey, look, this wasn't really good tonight. I thought it would be different, but I'm going to go back and give it another chance. That's all you got to say.
Oh yeah, or the best is I went in their first week open.
And I was there the first night
and had a bad experience. I'm never going back.
What are you doing?
It's like they're finding their footing, man. I'm not saying that like just poor business practices or should just be forgiven, but like try to help them address it. Bring what happened to them. That's much more beneficial to that business. I want to hear. When I have friends tell me they went to the Moose, I want them to tell me if something was bad.
Right.
Because that's how you improve.
Especially if you're not there.
Exactly.
Right. But back in the old days, we ran into things that I waited, and it's like, no, you didn't, because I was back there, and the longest ticket time was 32 minutes.
Right.
You did not wait an hour and 16 minutes.
Right.
It just didn't happen. So I get mad when people do that. But what I do enjoy is the positivity. I try to surround myself with people who are positive. I try to surround myself with causes that are positive.
Yeah.
Why? Because we all have, when we're not on camera or the microphone, we all have shit we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
So I'm not going to spend my whole life dealing with that. I'd rather be, what can I do? If my power is not, and it's not financial. My wife will vouch for that. It's not financial, but if I can help through words, or if I can help identifying causes, or we can help a new restaurant stay open one more week where they just climb over that magical mountain.
Yeah, get over the hump.
That's what I want to do. That sounds like way more fun than killing other places. And sadly, though, every restaurant doesn't make it. And you're going to blame this, that, or the other thing for it. But we know in this business it's pretty simple. The old joke was, if you want to have $1 million in the restaurant business, you start with 2.
Yeah.
If you want, that's how it works. Unless you have an unbelievable product, people are sweating. People are struggling for employees. People are doing this. So when you and I get together on Wednesday, it's a long-winded point, but we're trying to help it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Find managers, find staff, find servers, find kitchen help, whatever it is. And if people are talking about it or bothering you on the street, we're getting through.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. Not everybody can spend $10,000 on a television advertising campaign, or what, I don't even know what Facebook ads or Instagram ads or any of that shit goes for. But not everybody can do that when you get started. Yeah. And if we can help, we're trying to help.
Well, I love it because you have me on to be a champion for the restaurants, but
absolutely,
often you're the one that, like, we'll talk about going into a busy weekend. I'll talk about this place is doing this, or I just had this, but every time it's so consistent with the follow up of please remember that they're understaffed, or they're gonna get slammed. Like, keep that in mind, keep that perspective, which is super beneficial. And I love it because you have your perspective, because as you mentioned, 95 to 2015 or 93,
close enough, 96,
96. Yeah. Okay. So I was 6 years old. Just gonna toss that out there. You're like, you have me on my podcast. You make it
bartender.
You're like, was that necessary, Jordan? Thank you.
That's all right. I'm old. I can't do anything about it.
But you have this perspective because you've spent so much time.
Experience, man, teaches you everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I want to hear about this experience. City Grille and Yogis are the ones I know.
Yeah, I started at Yogis in 96. My buddies were working there, and I lived with a couple of them. And we were living at 15th in Indiana, and Yogis was at 10th in Indiana. So back in those days, you had to be 21 to work in the bar. They changed that, I don't know, 5 or 6, 10 years later, whatever. Anyhow, so I started checking IDs, and that's how you got your foot in the door, then host, then bus tables, then wait tables, then bar back, bartend, and then just up the ladder. I loved it. It was great. It was party. The place was hot. It had only been open, 4 or 5 years at that time. Football games, basketball games, parents weekend, you can just go through like you guys do, all your big dates,
right?
And I thought it was really fun to be in a job where it didn't really feel like work. Now it was, but you weren't there going, what's 12:30 on Saturday? Where's everybody? You're busy. You're doing stuff. You're having fun. You're learning about food. Jim Carl told me this forever. You're going to learn about food and alcohol. When are you not going to use that the rest of your life?
Right.
So yeah, it was great. It was easy. It was a sports bar. I love sports. I've always been a sports guy. Played a lot of sports growing up. So the game's always on. We're putting the game on. We're the only town, when Yogi started, the only place in town that had the NFL Sunday ticket.
Oh yeah.
So that's, you do all this. You became the place to go for sports, and that was fun. And then it was, I worked a lot of late nights and didn't love that. After a while, I just get burned out doing it. And then I went back to some days. And as you mentioned, City Grille, that was the old Damon's property at 3rd and Walnut.
When then KRC Catering for a bit.
Yeah.
And now after
it was
City,
Damon's, then it was the City Grille. Damon's, the place for ribs. You remember that from our days in Indy and Castleton. It was a Damon's, so they wanted out. They took us took it over and tried to go fine dining to start with, and kind of went bands and tried to go that way, then kind of just went to like an adult Yogis for like the 35 and up crowd. So that was the angle there, and we did that for, 5 or 6 years. And then again, Jim Carl, the guy that owned all this stuff, he thought the convention center was coming then. He thought the Beeline Trail was coming then. The new hotel was coming then. So we got a little quick, perhaps, in all of that. But the foresight was great. Still not here in a couple of different ways. But yeah, managed kids, bartended, busy days, slow days, and everything in between. But yeah, restaurant business is great. You gotta. That's one everybody's needs to work in. It would solve a lot of our problems.
Yeah, public facing. You need a public facing job.
It is. Yeah. And then I went back to Yogis after the City Grille. I sold radio for a year or so, and then just went back to bartending because it was too easy for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slinging drinks, putting the games on, talking shit about sports. All right.
I mean, like you're not counting down the time till you're off.
No.
You're in the moment. You're doing what you love. You're hanging out with people you probably like.
And I'm like a lot of people that came to school here whenever you did. I told you 93. I did admit that on the air, right? Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I got here, and I still don't want to know what I want to do 30 years later. I'm not that old. 30 years later, I still don't know what I want to do. So when I get to do stuff like this with you, it's fun to kind of relive some of the glory days or whatever it is. Yeah. But it's also fun to see how the town's grown up and how things change in a good way, and there's apartments over here and there's this over there and all of that fun stuff. That's what I love about radio. I love being, and this stinks because I was a kid reading the newspaper growing up. I mean, I every day I'd check the box scores. Now, I'm probably not reading the business section or the front page too much, but I was a newspaper. I love the newspaper guy. I love news. I love the news cycle and everything else. So I get to talk about that every day.
Yeah, you got the weather too.
The weather.
You're Bloomington's Al Roker.
Big deal. Oh, not that. Good job, Al.
Post-surgery.
Post-surgery. Which one? Oh, you can't say that, Al. I hope you're feeling better. No, but it's fun doing all of that, along with having some, as you mentioned, a point of reference. Now, I could sit here and bullshit you and tell you I worked somewhere, but no one ever worked with me, or no one ever saw me working there and have all these great ideas. But no, going through it, it helps. It helps people hopefully understand. I hope when you listen to the show, when I have people like you on, or the school board, or whoever it is, I hope you get a little smarter. I'm not trying to change your mind or whatever, but like you mentioned,
informed.
Hey, it's graduation weekend in Bloomington. Tonight at 7:00 is not the night to go stand in line at your favorite restaurant because you're hungry and you live here, and that's how it is.
Yeah, and curse these college kids.
Right. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, we try to help, man. That's all we can do.
Yeah. No. So one of the best managers I've ever worked for.
Oh, it had to be my wife.
And yeah, you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And a million people I've worked with will all say that she was the best. Did you guys meet at Yogis?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. She started in 90. Let's see. It opened in 92 September. I think she started in 93 or 4, and then I started in 96. So obviously we crossed paths.
Yeah.
Crossed paths there. But yeah, when she was the general manager there, she trained everybody, hired everybody, set up the training programs, obviously, and did all of that. But she cared. That's my wife's biggest star is because she cares about people. And you could be on fire, beaten up after a night of, and if you showed up a little bit late, she probably was going to help you get through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because she believed in you. It's easy just to get rid of people, but she gave them a chance. You fired yourself at Yogis. That's basically how it works.
I've told on here before, she was the first person to ever fire me.
And it's the best thing that ever happened to you, right?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it was, you guys came into Charlie's a few weeks later.
Yeah.
And she came up to the bar and was like, you know why I had to fire you? You slept in 2 shifts in a row.
Yeah.
Not 10 minutes late. Slept in.
Right. But she gave you all the rope you wanted.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was 21 and was drinking and ripping it and
Sounds like I was when I started there. Absolutely right.
But I want to have Joe on sometime because there's
she'll definitely do it.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason you're here before her is because you've the direct connection with what the side dish thing is. But you have all this.
You should interview her more about the business because she was better at it than me. Absolutely. We had different strengths. Her strengths were people. My strengths were customers. She handled the staff. She trained you and like the mother figure.
Yeah.
And I could just, I liked the busy night because I could just work the room.
Hammer it.
That's it.
I love one of the things you mentioned Jeff Meese coming on the show with us a couple weeks ago that he said was, I thought it was really interesting, and the show's the segment's so short and you got to go so quick. I feel like I might have gotten glossed over. He said that he's not a good manager.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, realizing that means you're a really good boss.
Exactly.
You might not be a great manager, but if you know you're bad at something, you have somebody else do it. So when my wife was handling her stuff, people weren't like, well, this training's silly or whatever. It's like, what, you want to train them? Hell no, I don't want to train them. You want to train them? No.
Yeah.
Let the pro do it. Let the professionals help. But the self-awareness is awesome. And you get more of that when you get a little older too, I think. And Jeff's been through every war possible.
Give or take.
But yeah, we could talk about Meese for an hour on the show. We're not going to. Meese, get your own show. And no, but that is an excellent self-awareness observation.
Yeah, but it was something that Joe was so good at, was that manager aspect that he's talking about is just the people. And people loved to work for her because they could tell she cared and that she would do the work that she would ask you to do, and that she's been there. It's not something she got hired in and she's never gone and mopped a floor before, Right.
And the other part of it for me is everybody makes mistakes, and it's how you deal with people's mistakes. If you sleep in 5 days in a row, what am I going to do? You don't leave me any choice.
Yeah.
If you help me, if you picked up all these shifts on spring break when 2 people quit because they were going to go file the Grateful Dead or whatever it was, I'll remember that, and she would.
Yeah.
So she was kind of no nonsense in that way, but caring, no nonsense. I don't know how to describe it, but it made sense. And people would tell people. The people that were working there would tell their friends or tell their sorority sisters or tell their fraternity brothers, and there was never a time where it's like, oh, we don't have anybody to work.
Right.
And I'm not saying that it was the best ever, that's stupid to think that or even want to believe that. But when you find places that can't find people all the time, I'm not pointing fingers, but you haven't come to that self-realization yet that either you're not very good at it or you need somebody better than you at it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to do that for monetary reasons, for ego reasons, or anything else. But you can't do everything in that business. If you had to run the chocolate mousse tomorrow because nobody showed up because they said you're an asshole and we all quit,
right?
How would you do?
Yeah.
You get through the first day,
crash and burn,
and that'd be about it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. You have to build a team, and you have to be smart, and you have to put shortstops at shortstops and center fielders at center fielders. You have to do that. When people understand that, and you give them a defined role, and they know what their expectation is every day, that's not work anymore.
Right.
That's showing up. You don't want to let Jordan down because he's working next to you. You don't want to leave the side work because Glass is back there and he's pretty cool to work with. So when you build that culture, that's the thing. People don't leave jobs because of money. They don't.
Yeah.
There are jobs in this town that you can make a shit ton of money in. But if your boss sucks, you have to work with him to make that money. And what do people do?
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
You might be able to put up with it for a month or two.
I'll take a $5 an hour pay cut somewhere because someone's not riding my ass or they suck as a human being.
Right.
So figure it out.
That's what we've got. Lately, a lot of our applications have been like, ask why do you want to work at the Moose? And it's just like...
That's a great question to ask.
One, it's just people like, I went in, it looked like the staff was having fun. And so it's...
How did you hear about us? Why do you want to work
And that's
there?
because of a lot of the people that we have there. It's not because of me, but it's like, that's great to see. I love that, and it's...
Can't fake it.
Yeah. Well, they have to enjoy working. Right. And have you seen the post that Between the Buns just did in Indy?
No.
It's gone viral. Garrett, have you seen it? It's this guy just going like, this might trigger some people, but the most of you will relate. And it's just like, they're hiring and they're paying okay, but it's just like, just railing on this generation and nobody wants to work anymore. And you have to, just all these things that are just like, so you can it's just the
Cliched.
biggest giant red flag of, I do not want to work for this person, and so it's funny.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to name the restaurants here because that's just not.
We're not what we're doing.
But there are restaurants that aren't hiring, and people will say, "Well, it's because of the money they make." It's never about the money. And if you walked in and asked those people why you've been there so long, it's either the flexibility because they have kids or school. It's either the boss cares. They give me some leeway when life doesn't work perfectly. And about the sixth or fifth thing on that list will be money.
Right.
It's never about money.
Yeah.
So if there's a management tip for you today, read more management books about people because without people, you're alone. And if you're lonely, your customers are just as lonely. And that's part of it.
We need a...
Part
of
it
on the wall, Garrett.
Won't fit on a T-shirt.
We were just talking about that with Mike McAfee. How you're in a college town, you're gonna have college kids. You got to be flexible.
And the other thing that drives me crazy: this isn't Boston, this isn't San Francisco, this isn't Austin, where there is the professional serving culture that I don't know if our foodies demand or our sorority moms must have. I'm just thinking of the grander scales of things. People go to college because they're not a finished product. They wouldn't go to college if they were an expert at whatever they're going to do in life. So they're going to fuck up your chicken fingers
from time to time.
That's going to happen.
But they're incredibly intelligent. And they're still learning. They're still getting polished. I mean, we all are to a degree.
If you're an accountant or a HR manager, would you like somebody off the street just to sit in your office one day and tell you about how you're screwing everything up?
Right.
Probably not. So take a deep breath, have fun with it. But there are certain places in town that have a different level of culture. And you'd have to ask their management why that is, or the people that work for them. And if you have that, and you've identified that, well, fan the fire, fan the flames, keep it going. That's what you want.
Absolutely.
You want the inmates to kind of run the asylum. You don't want to give them the keys to the safe, perhaps, but if they take care of each other, you don't have to worry about jumping in and make sure the works. They do that themselves. It's like when a coach tells you, when my team yells at each other about, hey, you're not playing defense, or you're not covering that back cut that we talked about. Same thing.
Yeah.
It's the very, very same thing. So it is a college town. You have to accept it, even though our college town prices are not like college towns always. So I think that's kind of I don't want to say the dividing line, but the dichotomy of it is, if I'm paying $7.50 for a pint, I shouldn't have to wait 8 minutes for you to walk 20 steps to the bar and bring it to me and expect a 25% tip. So we got to have it both ways.
Yeah, there's got to be...
Got to have it both ways.
Got to be accountable. I was talking about that with a couple of my friends that are work in the industry, how they just went, I won't say from where, but they had just came from somewhere and had awful, really bad service. It
happens, right.
And we were talking about how it's tough because when you've worked in restaurants or you're currently working as a server, you're as understanding as it can be for the most part. Every now and then you'll have someone like, I'm a server.
If you have two kids and you're hungry and they're hungry...
But it's just, but the thing is, if it's, you can tell when it's low effort and when they're just getting screwed.
Right.
If a server's getting screwed, they're getting triple sat, the kitchen's behind, they're understaffed. You see those things and you understand, and you don't hold that against them.
And by the way, you don't have to stay.
Yeah, but it's like, but it just when there's a low effort where you can just tell they don't care.
Low effort is bad.
That's where it's really frustrating because you're just like, man, like you want to be like, hey, dude, I get it, like it's tough, but like you're not even trying.
Yeah.
So that's the tough one that I have.
That
trouble.
is tough, and that goes back to management because they condone that and let it happen.
Right.
So I for me, it took me a while to get over the burn. Once I got out of the business, it took me about 3 or 4 years, and then COVID hit, so that was kind of helpful, where I wouldn't go into a place and be like, oh, my God, bust the table. It's been like that for 10 minutes.
Right.
You're killing me. Oh, my God. The beer bottle's been sitting in front of me for 5 minutes, and you've walked by 5 times. Mm-hmm. You have another arm. You use it. But no, we're not. Again, we all have something to bitch about. We all have something to complain about, but then we try to celebrate the great things or the great examples we see in all of that, which makes it fun.
Yeah, I feel like as much as we're positive, lifting up, most of the negative talk we've had is about other people's negativity, and that's what frustrates us so much. It's
well, it just seems like it's the head banging against the same wall. Went to a new place. It wasn't. The service stunk the first time we went there. Okay, went out graduation. Grandma's noodles weren't cooked. Yeah, I know. No one tries to do it. You just have to. We try to get people to outsmart the system. When do restaurants need your business? Do they need it Saturday at 7 o'clock or Tuesday at 8:15? It's not even close.
So many parallels from the conversation we just had with Mike and this, where Visit Bloomington's focusing on getting people here Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
The weekends are fine. Yeah.
The weekends are naturally busy because that's when mom's weekend is, and dad's weekend, and home football games,
right?
And a lot of basketball games, and all these great events you put on. Yeah, but just because your schedule doesn't work out, well, then you're in that crowd and you can't be worried about it. So I'm hoping that Mike McAfee and Visit Bloomington and Mayor Hamilton and the county commissioners and the county council and the city council figure out how to make a building that brings in people, like you mentioned, 35 weeks a year, whatever it is, and then the service will get better. There will be a culture that develops out of that, because whereas there are restaurants people can only work or want to work Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday, if you build busy places, people work at busy restaurants.
Absolutely.
Chains don't close when they open. Why?
I talked to Mike a little bit about the convention, and Visit Bloomington, I know, and they've done everything they can and made very clear what they think needs to happen.
And I'm not in that fight directly.
I know, but it's just like you can tell even just the frustration that they have, where it's like, come on, what? Like, because it's out of their hands. They're waiting on other people.
Well, the other thing that'll be interesting is there are a handful of restaurants that are popular in this town right now that aren't open on either Sunday, Monday, or both.
Right.
And the rising tide lifts all boats should hopefully maybe fix that. I don't know. I wouldn't think it wouldn't, but we're not anywhere near close enough getting, in my opinion, shovels in the ground. We're not anywhere near close enough getting people to the table to decide, when are we going to bond this? When are we going to build it? Who's going to build it? Who's going to design it? This is 10 years from now.
Well, that's
and
what we
10 years from now. I'm going to be almost 60. God, that's a turn the cameras off. I can't do this anymore. But that's the point. The point is, what are we waiting for? What are you stalling for? And if you want a great, vibrant restaurant community that you already have, 450 restaurants? 450?
Yeah, insane.
That's great. It always get better? Right. There's nothing static. You're either growing or dying. So pick one and go with it.
Right.
So, but putting things off just doesn't work for me anymore.
Yeah. Hopefully the parties that are holding it up can figure something out, because Mike made the point the other day where it's like, yeah, it will be 2030. By the time,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? By the time it's all said and done and everything's gone through, it's going to be 2030. It's going to be a long time.
Let me know when the monorail gets built too.
What's the song where line in The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The monorail. No, it's
the monorail song.
It's the Music Man. It's a mono what? Monorail. It's the spoof from the Music Man. And
okay.
I can't remember.
I don't know. That's one of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons.
Yesterday was the anniversary of Homer at the Bat, if not the
greatest.
Really?
Yeah.
February 20th, 1993.
Who was it that Mr. Burns told
Don Mattingly.
His sideburns?
My favorite.
Yeah. I love the best is when Daryl Strawberry's in the outfield. They're like, Daryl. Yep. Daryl.
Who's somebody's clucking like a chicken. It's all... Yeah. It's a whole good one. It's a whole thing.
Well, this
Simpsons are great.
This has been very therapeutic, and one thing that I thought of while you were talking that's been ruffling my feathers, thinking of plucking like a chicken.
That's it.
Is a lot of times recently people have been asking. We're gonna go to a break and we're gonna go back to the positive spin. But I just want to get this off my chest.
Good.
All the time, people are like, "Where do I find a good Italian beef? Where do I get a good New York slice? Where do I get a Cuban?" And without fail, every time, there's none. You got to go to New York. You got to go to Chicago. You got to go to Miami. And it's like, okay, we get it. We get that you've been to those places. We get that it's maybe not going to be quite that good. But there's still
Bloomington doesn't have little Havana.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, but
wow.
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
There's no Ybor City.
There's no the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Oh, there's no Little Italy here. Okay.
When it's just like Did
you hear the Italian market's closing?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
That's
it's that Yael. Well, he's supplied us. We switched to oat milk now for our vegan ice cream, but he was our supplier for coconut milk for the longest time.
He's gonna go to Costa Rica and relax.
I know. Good for him, man. He's earned it.
Breaking news for
talk about
show.
A character. I need to reach out to him. He would be fun.
He'll let it loose.
Yeah, I'd say about 3 words in 2 hours, but it'd be great.
But to your point, I get what you're saying about it's not as good as somewhere else. Well, then that's fine. I understand.
Or just like, does New York have it? It bothers me because it adds nothing to the conversation.
No, it doesn't.
It's like you said, the attention. It almost is like, but
look
at me. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been to Chicago.
No, my favorite one is before the break is, and it always ends with who has the best chocolate layer cake, but the first paragraph is about their life. It's me and my husband's 3rd anniversary of our first date in Bloomington. Does anybody know where there's chocolate cake? Look, that's fine. Just superfluous. We don't need that. Where's the best chocolate cake?
That's at least positive. I can get on board with.
But it's look at me, and there's 2 ways to look.
Yeah,
I mean
that's.
No, we're not. See, we're not going to let this bullshit get us down. It's not where we're going here. Yeah. We can have fun with it because we're here off the record.
I can't get on people too much on the look at me when I have a video podcast.
Yeah. Well, you chose the camera.
Yeah.
So that's up to you.
I could not do this if I had to edit it.
Oh, there'd be no.
I can't go back and watch
That's why
it.
I like when we're doing.
Well, like
when we talk on the radio.
Well, you do it, and then I trust Garrett.
See, you're going without notes. That's awesome.
Yeah, no.
It's like a server taking the order without the notepad. Just get it right. That's
dude, I love. Well, it's a big risk. It's a big risk because I remember. I think I got up. I think the biggest I ever did was a 10 top without writing anything down at Sweetgrass, and I nailed it. I felt great about it. Yeah. But if you're gonna do that, you better make sure. And I've screwed it up before, but you better make sure that you got it. Because then you just look like.
Well, it's your showpiece. It's your hey, you're in my world, and I'm gonna knock it out.
Well, you're putting on a show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they're talking when you're not there about. You wait. He's not bringing my coleslaw.
Yeah,
and then watch. But they're betting at the table, and they got all.
Yeah, but that feeling
but
though,
nail it, yeah.
But when you nail, that's where the payoff is. Obviously, you're risking them having a bad experience, and it's selfish. It's a selfish thing to do.
All I'm asking for this day is if I order food, just bring me some silverware. That's it. We'll start there.
Oh, the worst. Yeah, the food. You're like,
I don't have my. Hold on. I have my chopsticks. Let me just. Get that going. Are we taking a break?
Yeah,
or
we'll take a
break.
All right, thanks. Introducing Constellation Stage and Screen Bloomington's newest professional theater and film company. On stage next, Constellation presents American Fast, a riveting new sports drama playing March 23rd through April 8th at the Ted Jones Playhouse. 21-year-old college basketball sensation Katie Salama makes it to March Madness, only to become a national news story when she lies about observing the Muslim fast while competing in the tournament. See this thrilling new basketball drama, American Fast, on stage March 23rd through April 8th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at constellation.org. Did you know the Chocolate Mousse has a second Bloomington location? Located next to Buffalo's on Indiana Avenue, not only can you find our famous homemade ice cream, but we also have a full coffee menu featuring locally roasted Brown County coffee and delicious vegan and gluten-free treats from our friends at Rainbow Bakery. Skip the line and order ahead at moosebtown.com 7 days a week. Open early at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. It's the perfect early morning stop, midday pick-me-up, or late night snack. All right, we're back with Mike Glasscott, host of Glass in the Afternoon on WGCL. What is it, WGCL.org for streaming?
.com. Bloomington's voice.
We were doing an ad where I kept doing .com.
Radio voice. Okay, man. We can talk about that.
Should we do the last 15 minutes like that?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I do that with my kids when they bother me and I don't want to use foul language.
That's how you stop yourself, make you think.
Yeah, well, my daughter's 12 and she knows everything, so that's impressive just to start with. So if we get into a little bit of kerfuffle, I'm just like, okay. You know that? Okay.
You got a prodigy on your
Dad,
hands.
stop. Okay. You just got to play the game with them because they want the fight. I'm not.
You got to give. Yeah.
Nuts.
Not your first
Nuts.
rodeo.
No, I don't even have a horse.
All right, where are we? We got a little bit of time left. I want to dive into restaurants. Let's talk restaurants. Where you like to eat out? What are some of your favorite spots? What are the go-to orders? What are the?
Oh, I like the sound of all of this.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
This is now our fat cat.
Oh, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I got to have a fat kid segment on my thing.
There's two things in my restaurant world that are weird because time and space with kids is different. I have 12 and 9, so there's always something going on. So dinner is very few and far between. So I like to do my wife and I have lunch often because number one, I don't need a reservation. I know I can get out in about an hour. Right. You're not you're not having drinks at 1:00 in the afternoon. Just a drink. There's a difference.
Singular,
there's
not
a difference
plural.
at that point. But that's kind of the way. But no, we love all the restaurants in Bloomington because we've eaten at almost all of them, and that's probably the next thing I want to do is get to all the new ones. But where were we on Saturday? Saturday was a shit show in Bloomington in a good way.
Yeah. Oh no, I love it.
My goodness, it was.
When the town just
I tried not to be that guy on those days, but I was on Saturday. Had a great friend in town. Had some drinks. Went to Siam House.
Nice. Okay.
Got in about 20 minutes, and food's awesome. I love Thai food, and every restaurant on 4th Street had people in it. Because we try to get away from the lines that you could see out the door on the square and Kirkwood and everything else. So
you go to the ones that are hidden a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that would be the best advice I would give people that are around here who aren't in town for these mega weekends. When they zig, you zag.
Absolutely.
So if everybody's going to make Yanko's reservations and Malibu and Tap, and I mean, we can go through them all. We know who our friends are, Crazy Horse Irish Line, all of them.
Right.
You wait in line at Nick's, that's a badge of honor or whatever. That's cool. But literally, I mean, we waited for 15 minutes at the Siam House at 7:45. That's awesome because number one, the food's really good.
Right.
It's great. And then it's kind of a more of an eat and get out place than it is, the third bottle of wine, the dessert course, and that's great, but you've got to be in there to be in there. So we love the ethnic food. Samira's another great place that we love to eat.
Doing the buffet tomorrow. I'm excited.
The buffet's good. That's the last time we were there was the buffet. It was right after it opened when we talked about it. It was a cold afternoon, and we said, you know what? Let's just go in there, get the lentil soup. it's not on there, just pay extra for it. Doesn't matter how much it costs. It's the best. It's vegetarian. It's great. I'm not even a vegetarian guy. It just has an unbelievable flavor to it. But yeah, I love Cornish game hen there. I eat it all the time. You know what? We'll go on campus and eat at Mother Bear's. We love Mother Bear's. Malibu, we've been there a million times in our lives.
You're also a semi-spokesman for Malibu.
Back in the old days, right?
Yeah, I was just saying you had
did I send you that picture?
Can we reenact it? Weren't you guys like cheersing?
No, we were I don't think were we cheersing
or was it a fake laugh? Was it like
yeah, it was, yeah. And my daughter's in the high chair and she's staring right at the camera, and I don't know how they got that.
It was such a perfect picture. I'll find it and we'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah,
Garrett,
do that. If not, just it's on our refrigerator.
And maybe just send me a picture of it. Perfect. Yeah,
I won't remember, but you'll email.
I'll
me.
email.
We'll do that.
You said it before I could.
Right.
Yeah.
So John Bailey, who used to be the general managing partner there, wanted to. We're not famous or good looking. We're actually neither. We just we spent a lot of money there back in the days. He wanted to have a campaign where it's like, hey, look, families can be in here. There was some kind of misconstruction that it was not for family friendly. Now it is and it isn't, because if you're going to have a nice dinner, kids eat in 15 minutes. Like, can we go now? It's like, no, I've had one bite. We're staying. So that's where we get kind of in the mix of where we're going to go or not going to go. So, Nick's, Mother Bear's, you get pizza, kids can relax, wait for the pizza and do all that. But, when we like to get out and get around it, that's not been a lot lately. So we pick and choose, Bloomington on the square. Where do we go today? Social Cantina.
Nice.
We've had fun. Yeah, we'll just pop in everywhere. We try to kind of spread. We eat what we want to what we feel or don't want to cook.
Yeah. No, I get it.
That's where we're at.
I'm a big feel guy. You got to go with the what. That's
when you ask me what's my favorite meal, I'll say, what mood am I in? How many beers have I had? Do I want a glass of wine? Do I want a cocktail?
What's the weather?
Is it early? Is it late? Are we outside? Are we inside? Are we doing all this? So I think the best part about having 450 restaurants is it's really hard to say, oh, well, it's not New York City. Well, you're right. It's not.
No shit.
You should be able to find, again, something in your... And that was funny. Where do you want to eat? I don't care. I like everything. Well, what flavor do you want? Because we have 19 Thai restaurants. We've got 45 of this and 63 of that. So it's just, but you can do any of it, which is great. And there's a lot of places that have a downtown square, and then when you walk a block off that square, there's nothing.
Exactly.
So we're very fortunate. We've got to remember that. But no, I mean, I'll stop at Jimmy John's on Kirkwood and grab one because I'm starving.
Absolutely.
They're not kidding about Freaky Fast. Then I'm ready to go.
I had Jimmy John's for the first time in a while last week. Yeah, I had him deliver. I mean, it's right. This is how lazy I was being because
that's a you thing.
I know. Yeah. That's why you have this thing.
A you thing.
Yeah. But I I had it delivered and it's just super quick. I love their chocolate chip cookie. They use real vanilla. It's great. It's really, really good.
Well, you're an expert in the sugar world. I should listen to you.
I know. I've got, dude,
you work in the ice cream business. You should know something about sugar.
Yeah, but even being in ice cream, the joke with Lovey and I is that we're such baked goods guys. We love baked goods so much.
Who doesn't? I try to stay away from them because I just, seafood diet, man. Seafood heat.
Absolutely.
But no, we like all the different kinds of pizzas, and you can find great deals and all that stuff. Sometimes there's nothing better than on a Friday night after a couple cold beers, having a Big 10 or Big X or whatever the hell they call it now.
Right.
Sorry. Not on the payroll yet.
It was Big 10 when I moved to town.
And then somebody got sued and it's Big X and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyhow, something about having a couple slices of pepperoni and a couple breadsticks is there's nothing better. And then sometimes I want to go to Da Vinci's or Asteria and have the wood fired, bring it out, or a big hunk of pasta, or D'Angelo's Monday buy one get one free. I mean, we do this for hours and hours. And you know what else? I like to go to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Right. Or sometimes
sue me. Yeah.
Applebee's. Why? 'Cause it's got stuff my kids want to eat, and we get it, and we know what we're getting, and we get in and out. The reason chain restaurants are popular everywhere is people go to New York City and Times Square and say, you don't want linguine clam. What are you doing? Yeah, and you go to Red Lobster. Just whatever makes you happy. There's no rule for any of this.
Yeah,
it happens.
Well, you know what you're getting. It's hopefully consistent.
It is, right.
My buddy's been swearing by the wings at Applebee's lately. Just like they're but they're kind of breaded. They're a different wing than Buffalo Louie's. But if that's the mood that they're in,
the first wings I ever had were from a bar in Carmel called Muldoon's. And I know you've heard of it.
Oh yeah,
and they're breaded. I didn't know wings didn't have breading on them until I worked at Yogis.
Really?
Yeah, because my parents would go and hey, if you guys are out, If you could bring me home some wings, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd love
So,
it.
you know, you're a kid, you get home at 11 o'clock on a Friday night, you think it's late night, big time hour, and there are the wings in the refrigerator, and they're always breaded.
Always right. That's what wings are.
Yeah.
You don't know any more.
Didn't know
any better, yeah.
Yeah. So,
what-
yeah, you can find us. You know who's got great wings that nobody knows about? The Irish Line. I've told you this before.
You have, and
They
I've
are
yet...
breaded, and the sauce is funky in a
ki-
good way.
Okay.
It's kind of like a honey, barbecue-y, red hotty mix.
Okay.
So it's like a sweet and spicy, but more spicy than sweet.
So that's...
And they're big, and their blue cheese is pretty good. Again, fat kid talk.
I know, I'm getting. I'm sitting here like, how late's Irish
Yeah,
Line?
I'm sweating now.
You have told me that, and I've yet to do it.
Yeah.
So thank you for reminding me. I'm also really glad you mentioned D'Angelo's. I don't give they just skip my mind, and it upsets me because they're great.
Start Monday night. It's buy one, get one free pizza calzones. So if you get whatever, then
I've done the calzones there. They're phenomenal.
Pizza's really good too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they use, I don't know, they get their dough from the bake house. You'd have to look that up. I'm not going to
Say something, yeah.
half truths.
Yeah,
I don't, because I don't know. But you know what? I don't have any, again, if we're out here doing this, yeah, I'll stop by IHOP. If I'm over here doing that,
Right.
I'll hit the Cloverleaf. If I'm over here doing that, I'll go to the Village Inn or whatever it is.
Right.
So
well, that's what
we went to Pizza Pantry the other day.
I've never been there. I've heard it's phenomenal.
I've had the pizza like in like a hospitality suite, like before broadcasting an Edgewood game. So I tried it there. But
Okay.
they've got the salad bar. The
Is it like an old school Pizza
bar.
Hut?
It kind of looks like it. It's got the sunken floor.
Okay. Oh, nice.
But it's been there forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, pizza comes out. It's delicious. I love any kind of pizza. I love deep dish, thin,
You know,
fold
yeah.
it in half. Right. And
Bread,
again,
bread, sauce, cheese,
what
toppings.
kind of mood are you in?
Absolutely.
Whatever kind of, whatever, bottle of red, bottle of white, whatever mood you're in tonight. Well, that's Billy Joel's Italian restaurant, not mine.
You're gonna sing us some Billy Joel?
No, I can't sing.
Okay.
I
Well,
sing
that
in the
was-
shower, the water turns itself off. Not good. Not good.
You brought up the sweet and spicy on the Irish
Yeah.
Lion sauce.
Where do you get sushi?
So I've Mage 10th in college. I like going there.
Is that the one back by Jersey Mike's or 10th in College? No, that's underneath by Three Amigos.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That one. I don't know why I kind of started going there, but I kind of got in the habit of it. The location would be good. I think leaving bowling league coming to
Okay.
college, and they would be kind of open late. I just pull right in there, grab it, go. Ami is obviously incredible.
Yeah.
What I realized the other day is I have not gone, and I think there's about 5 restaurants in town I haven't gone to.
Oh,
But one of them is Sushi Bar at 10th and the Bypass, but not over by Jersey Mike's, but on its own little island on the southwest
right. The
corner.
other side. Right.
Yeah, so
Right,
I need to go
right.
there. But the sweet and spicy sauce at Irish Lion, because you mentioned wings from Yogis. My favorite was always the Hawaiian Fire.
Okay.
By far, I loved
Yeah.
it so much. Maybe just a step below my all-time favorite sauce of sweet barbecue from
Well, we know that
Buffalo's.
at Buffalo's, right?
Yeah, just licking
Yeah.
it off the finger.
That's your safe word. Sweet barbecue. Shit gets out of hand. Sweet barbecue. Sweet barbecue.
Sweet barbecue.
We got to help Jordan and get him some wings. Hawaiian Fire.
Yeah.
Sweet
So
and
did you
sour
ever
and-
try the one at
Big
New
Red?
Yogis?
No, I have not.
Because they swore that they got the recipe and it was the same, and it just wasn't the same. And the way I look at Yogis is the way I look at Metalworks. If you compare it to the old one, if you compare Metalworks to Function,
Right.
you're gonna be disappointed. They're not the same thing. But if you look
Good
at
way to
them
look at it.
independently as just a new place,
Yeah.
they're great.
It is.
You know,
and I'll tell you this, and I'm not breaking any news to you. 4 walls don't make bars. People make bars.
Right.
You could have a little shack selling ice cream, and you rip it down and you put a brand new place up. Is chocolate mousse better or worse than the shack that was sitting in the middle of the parking lot? It's better, right?
Yeah.
When you got good people,
Yeah.
you got because the people that work for you make that. It's not. You could be called the chocolate donkey, and people would still work there and enjoy it because you have good people and good product. Right.
Yes, it's
Cheers. It's called the cheers effect in the bar business. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
That's why I love. That's why we love Alley Bar.
There you go.
You know, you
Every
walk
time
in,
I walk
hey.
That's
I mean, even since I stopped drinking, I go to Alley Bar once or twice a week just to see everybody.
The camaraderie.
See what's
so
up.
People make bars. It's not the other way around. You can put them in buildings. You can call them whatever you want to. That's not my belief. Is why do you go to a place? The old joke we used to tell our kids back in the day: who doesn't serve Bud Light? Everybody.
Yeah.
So why do they have to come here?
It's the people. Yeah, it's the bartenders. It's the other customers. It's the regulars.
If a guy sits down at your bar and you don't want to talk to him and he never comes back, whose fault's that? It's not the customer's fault.
Right.
You chose not to engage. You're having a bad day. You're doing whatever you're doing, But this guy just wanted to come in. This gal just wanted to come in, maybe watch a ball game, have a beer, tell you the problems of life, and you chose not to. They're going to go somewhere else,
right?
Because there's Bud Light somewhere else.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not hard to figure out sometimes, but sometimes we overcomplicate lots of things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that was one of the things that I did wrong down when we had Connor's Tap Room after it was Talkers. My buddy Ken Sirk and I had Connor's Tap Room. His name was Connor. And
Yeah.
I was a small partner in it, but I had everything that I was doing at the Moose. Yeah. And I never was really able to dedicate myself to it.
That's where the sinkhole is now?
Yeah, and so McKinley, and I was showing McKinley pictures I found on my phone from when we renovated the inside.
Gotcha.
Took out the drop scene, or I didn't directly, but part of our whole thing, and redid the bar to what it is now. And he really took it and ran with it and did it right. And I was having this conversation with him where I'm like, man, I really wish, if that was all I focused on was Connor's Tap Room and not like, I feel like I could have made it work, but also like I was bartending shifts there and I was not a fun bartender. I was like, I don't know. It was just, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. But that's what it all is. The bartender has to be happy to be there.
Or you have to have the most amazing whatever, where people will be like, I don't care. There's two things. The food's so good, I have to eat it, and I don't care if it takes forever.
Yeah, or how me, yeah.
Or you know what? I can live with this because that guy's cool or that gal's great and takes good care of me. So there's different ways to think about that for sure. So
yeah.
So sushi, I'm a weirdo with sushi. You know why I'm a weirdo?
Why?
I like it cold. I don't like the hot rice.
I know. I'm kind of if it's the room temperature like it's supposed to be, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't admit this. I'm gonna lose foodie cred, but I like it cold.
I do too, and that's on me. And I was late to the sushi game, so
I feel like that's one of those things where subconsciously I think like, oh, it's not warm. It might not be safe to eat.
I don't like the warm rice with the cold vegetables coming together. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's all cold, and I'll eat it. But yeah. It's fun. The food scene here is great because you can make it what you want, and thankfully there's enough room for everybody in it, whether you're doing flaming hot Cheeto bagels like I saw at Bloomington Bagel
BBC,
Company
they had a Cool Ranch schmear.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that.
That was part of it,
that's fantastic. I just saw the bagel and I started laughing. I said, well, that's Bloomington for you right there.
Yeah,
let's get nuts. Let's get a little silly. Let's just get silly.
Saw they're doing hash browns now.
I did see that, right?
Yeah.
Add a hash brown
We'll
to
talk
everything.
about that tomorrow.
Oh, we will. We will for sure.
Real quick before we go, I want to dive into some of your work that you still do with IU. Because you got to go to Allen Fieldhouse when IU played Kansas.
I did that luckily through radio, believe it or not.
All right.
I helped get credentialed for that. No, I'm like the bullpen guy. If it's spring break or fall break and they don't have somebody to do a sport, they'll call me.
Yeah.
But since I work till I don't get off the elevator at 6 every night, and kids are doing everything, it's hard for me to. I don't have a set plan or a set fun with them. But they'll call spring break. Hey.
But yeah, what was the last thing you called? You got
I did Indiana women, Purdue women volleyball.
Okay.
And that's when their season started to turn around. They lost in 5 that night, but that was fun because that gym was almost sold out if it wasn't that night at Wilkinson Hall.
Yeah.
So that's fun. No, I've done baseball. I've done
kicked off.
Well, I start with volleyball.
Well, didn't baseball start back up today? Yeah, that's
at home. They lost 2 out of 3 to Auburn over the weekend.
Oh,
but
really?
We're beating Miami of Ohio 9-1 when I headed this direction. Last time I looked.
On it.
They play at home next Tuesday too. They're at Texas this weekend. So
let's go. I love going to those baseball games.
Thankfully, it's so beer everywhere now. That's always nice. After a hard day at the office, you grab a cold beer and enjoy that. Yeah, so I did baseball in the Kyle Schwarber days. I was a PA for that. I did men's soccer. I did football on the field as we talked about earlier. I've done what else? I did some softball. You've
been the voice of the Hoosiers.
I've done a men's game. I've done a few women's games. Yeah. So no, it's fun.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short on it. You're over here being like,
you're an incredible slouch. Yeah. Don't sell yourself short, George.
What's if it's not Don Fisher, is it like Don I don't know. What's
no.
What's the super light version? Yeah.
No. I'm just happy to be considered for any of that, and anytime I can get a chance to help, just like helping with you, it's great. It's not the end of the world one way or another, but it's fun to be a part of, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know you hate video and this, but I owe you a favor now.
No, you don't. Just give me that gift card you've owed me for 2 years.
Yeah. All right. It's Joe. It was her name on it.
Well,
so.
I did. since we're married 20.
Like, that's how that works, Jordan. I know you don't understand.
No, that's awesome. Thanks, man. It was
Yeah.
fun. I'll do it anytime you want. Well, we do it every Wednesday, so we have fun with that.
Every Wednesday, 3:30, WGCL 98.7 or WGCLradio.com.
Nailed it.
Boom. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us in the latest episode of the No Dishes podcast. Do you like what you heard? Be sure to write a review, rate us, subscribe, like, whatever it is that you do to show your support. We really appreciate it. Until next time, be sure to keep those hands dry. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No dishes.
Season 4 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by Visit Bloomington.com. Visit Bloomington.com is the best resource for restaurants and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.